and welcome to part 2 of our lecture IV fluids. Today we are going to study about albumin, hydroxyethyl starch and hemexyl. These are colloids. As we know that IV fluids are of two types, sanguineous and non-sanguineous. Sanguineous are derived from blood, whereas non-sanguineous fluids are of two types, crystalloids and colloids. What are colloids? Colloids are plasma expanders. Colloid solution also contain high molecular weight substances such as protein or large glucose polymers efficient to produce oncotic pressure. Now, why we should use colloids? Colloids have advantages like they increase intravascular volume and they act for about 3 to 4 hours and they maintain plasma oncotic pressure. But they have certain disadvantages also, like they are expensive. Some colloids interfere with cross match and some colloids also interfere with coagulation profile. Colloid solutions help to maintain plasma oncotic pressure and for the most part they remain intravascular. And most colloid solutions have intravascular half-lives between 3 and 6 hours. What are the generally accepted indications for colloid? These are fluid resuscitation in patients with severe intravascular fluid deficits like hemorrhagic shock prior to arrival of blood for transfusion, and in fluid resuscitation in presence of severe hypoalbuminemia and conditions which are associated with large protein losses like burns. In these two situations we can use colloids. First colloid which we will study will be albumin. Albumin is a natural colloid, replacement type of colloid. It is isotonic in nature. It is available in preparations of 5% and 25%. As we know that it has water binding capacity of 17 ml per gram. It has molecular weight of 68,000 Daltons. We can use what are the indications of albumin as a plasma expander to restore or maintain blood volume and in cases of sepsis, burns, trauma, shock, and in hypoproteinemia, which can be because of dietary or renal causes. There are certain disadvantages to albumin also, like patients who are allergic to albumin should not be given it. It can cause hypervolemia leading to congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema, severe anemia leading to water retention, and anuric renal failure. The second colloid which we will study is hydroxyethyl starch. A bottle containing 500 ml solution of hydroxyethyl starch in concentration of 10% weight by volume in NS. Each 100 ml contains hydroxyethyl starch in 10 grams. Sodium chloride is 0.9%, sodium 154 milliequivalent per liter, chloride as same, and water for injection. Hydroxyethyl starch is obtained from maize. Its source is maize. It has osmotic pressure of 308 milliosmol per liter. All the preparations are made in NS and its oncotic pressure is 68 mm of Hg. What are the indications or uses of hydroxyethyl starch as a plasma expander in hypovolemia in cases of burn, trauma, surgery, sepsis, in preloading and hemodilution like in spinal anesthesia, cardiac surgeries and vascular surgeries? It has certain disadvantages also, like it cannot be used in patients who are allergic to starch, and overuse can lead to overhydration leading to congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema. The third colloid which we will study is a gelatin solution, hemexyl. Hemexyl is a colloid replacement type of fluid isotonic in nature. A bottle containing 500 ml of degraded gelatin in strength of 3.5% weight by volume and electrolytes. Each 100 ml contains polymer of degraded gelatin in 3.5 gram. It is having certain electrolytes like sodium, potassium, calcium and chloride. It has osmotic pressure of 300 milliosmol per liter and average molecular weight of 30,000 Daltons. It has colloid osmotic pressure of 21 mmHg and water binding capacity of 15 ml per gram. What are the indications or uses of hydroxyethyl starch? It can be used as a plasma expander in hypovolemic shock, in burns, trauma, perioperatively to replace the blood loss. Contraindications are allergic to gelatin, overhydration, pulmonary edema, CHF, oligouria, anuria and cardiogenic shock. It can lead to anaphylactic reactions. Overhydration can lead to pulmonary edema in CHF and may interfere with coagulation profile. Surgical patients may have an extracellular fluid deficit which exceeds the intravascular deficit. So we should prefer crystalloid in surgical patients. Severe intravascular fluid deficits can be more rapidly corrected using colloids. Rapid administration of large amount of crystalloid is more frequently associated with tissue edema. So what is our conclusion of this study? Various IV fluids are available besides blood for use for replacement as well as maintenance purposes. Crystalloid and colloids both have their certain advantages and disadvantages. Crystalloid replace extracellular volume while colloids replace intravascular volume. So different fluids are used according to the need and condition of patient. Some studies prefer the use of crystalloid, some prefer colloids, while some study shows that both may be used. So that's how we summarize our study of crystalloids and colloids, that is IV fluids. I hope it has given you a broader insight. Thank you.